Okay. So you should be able to see the questions at this point.
Okay, so Aleksandra, I take over and read them.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have two questions for Aleksandra. The first, are all the EPC registers in EU28 owned by the government, or are there also private repositories? And do EU national data protection policies limit the functionality, content, and access to EPC databases? If yes, are there counter-arguments, in particular the need to monitor compliance? Aleksandra, can I give it to you?
Of course.
To answer?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. I will start with the first one. And to our knowledge, and maybe I can check it also afterwards, always the EPC registry is linked with government with one way or another. We know that there are agencies that are running the EPC repositories, and but anyway, this belongs to the government. And I would check if there are examples which are different, but to my knowledge, I think this is the case for most of the countries. And for the second question about the data protection policies, of course, this is a very important issue, and this is the main reason why, for example, German repository is so limited with the information collected. This is purely the debate on the privacy issue. But I think there are very good examples how to deal with the privacy issue and still share the access to data if we remove the address or remove the owner in the database and just provide the data on the set of the buildings and the energy performance. I think we might not have this problem, and I'm very happy that we will have later on the presentation from Ireland, when I'm sure Michael will explain how they had to deal with the privacy issue to establish a tool. So if there is one response to it, probably no, but I'm sure the Commission should provide Member States with more guidance, not only how to build a database, how to analyze data in a database, but also how to deal with the privacy issue. I'm not sure if it will respond to the question. And there's one question to monitor the compliance. I'm not sure if we can monitor compliance in the EPC databases itself. I think it requires additional measures to check if the EPCs are available when sold or house is rented and so on. But of course, we need to monitor the compliance. We have seen just a few months ago there was a new study coming from the Commission where the compliance on the EPC schemes was assessed. And it has really looked like a little bit of expert judgment, because we see that in some countries the compliance is claimed to be 100%. And we know from the practical experience that it's not looking so good on the ground. So I think we really need to implement the good schemes to monitor the compliance, but this should be in parallel to the EPC databases, in my view.
Okay, thank you very much, Aleksandra. So I come to the next question. It's not addressed to a specific presenter. We know from previous and later studies, there is given the example of energy performance certificates in buildings and their impact on transaction prices and rents in selected EU countries. So this study and later studies about the investigated correlation between EPC and building value and rent. Could you please address also studies, if available, which have investigated the correlation between EPC and the decision of the owner to carry on refurbishment works due, for example, to low rating? So as far as I know, there have been projects on property valuation, and I think it's even ongoing. The projects are called ImmoValue and RenoValue. So they try to integrate, let's say, energy-related information into property valuation. And I know of studies which have been carried out, for instance, in the Netherlands and I think also in Denmark, which try to link transaction prices with energy performance information, but it's just ad hoc this. So it's not a systematic, let's say, link between transaction database and EPC database, as far as I know. But maybe, Aleksandra, you can say also something about this, or anybody else?
Maybe I could try, because we are trying to monitor in BPIE to really see what is happening. After the big study launched by the Commission in 2013, we've seen a new study from Copenhagen Economics trying to link the property value with the energy level. We also have a new country, which is Spain, that published in the research journals some results linking these two. But of course, already in the European Commission study, we see examples for the Netherlands, the UK, and not to miss others, because we have Ireland, Germany, I think also mentioned. So, but again, I will only confirm that it's not comparable, and there is a small sample, so this is not a systematic way of collecting this information.
Yeah. So this, yeah. So thank you, Aleksandra. I think this, I have the same view on this. But of course, it would be very useful to find a way how to link transaction databases with EPC databases in countries where such databases exist. But I think this is maybe another huge task. So let's come to the two last questions for Pär. Who is developing the method for correction of abnormal use of buildings in Sweden? So abnormal energy use, most probably. And does the database of EPCs include precise location data for the buildings and dwellings, or is it at the level of blocks? Pär, would you please try to answer?
Yes, I will try to answer. Regarding the method for correction for abnormal or non-normal use, it's normally, or it's developed by Boverket, the Swedish National Board of Housing and Building. So they are right now having a call out to give input to the process. Right now, the suggestion is to use the data which is suggested by SVEBY, which is the Swedish national building industry group working on standardization for energy use calculations, and that will be used as a basis for the standard for the non-normal use normalization. So I think as it looks now, they are moving away from using the operational energy use to more focusing on asset rating or calculated energy use in this normalization process. I hope that answered to that question.
Yes, thank you very much. I think there is another one for you.
Yes, exactly. The location of the buildings and dwellings. Normally, it's the property which is energy rated. So it can be several buildings in one block, and it can also be one specific building, but depends on how the layout is of the location of where the buildings are.
Okay, thank you. And a last question for you, referring to the real consumption of the EPCs. So as far as I have understood, in Sweden, the design certificate is prepared for the building permit, while the real EPC, based on data, can only be issued after at least 1 year of data are collected. Would you just say something about that? I think this is a question we can answer, then we have to move on with the presentation.
Yeah, I think we might save this for the end discussion, maybe.
Should we postpone it?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, okay. Then we postpone it for the next round of questions, if we still have time. And we move on with the presentation by Hubert Despretz from Ademe.